Alright guys, Mr. Prinny here and welcome to another profile video I'm doing for FM Football Manager. And basically I'm just doing this video just because I haven't uploaded anything, and this game's I've been basically really busy with general life stuff, and I wanted to put something up, so I thought I'd do this because Football Manager is really the only game I've been playing at the moment. So I thought I'd show you another team profile. Like I did one for Fiorentina a few months back, and so I thought I'd do one for the current game that I'm doing. It's with Tottenham, and yeah, it's the reason I'm playing Football Manager is basically because it's the new football season, and for those of you that don't know me, I'm a big football fan, so that's part of the reason. And but yeah, let's get into it. The actual profile. Basically, in my first season, I just basically, as you see by the date, I'm just about to start my second season. The first season went really well. I came second in the league. I'll show you the league table now. Second in the league. Man U won the league. Kind of surprising. No, but yeah, we came second, and we were actually first for a fair while, but we couldn't hang on to the lead. I think it was up until the last 8 games I had the lead, but Man U managed to leapfrog me because I got bogged down with games in other competitions, and the reason for that was because I was going very well in the Europa League. You see, look at the start of my season, it was amazing. Like, lost one game in I'm not going to try and see how many games that is, but it's a pretty good start to a league season, I think. But yeah, we managed to also win the Europa League. You see my form dipped off a bit there near the end. But yeah, we managed to win the Europa League. Got really lucky, actually, in the quarter and semi-finals because, yeah, we lost both the second legs, but luckily, because we had leads from the first leg, we scraped through on away goals both times. And beat Lyon in the final. It was a fairly comprehensive final. Look at the stats. Wow, that's a pretty dominant performance in a Europa League final. Paulinho, Soldado get the goals. I will show you my team. At least I'll show you the transfers actually first, because what I did is I didn't really bring many players in the first season. In fact, I only brought in one. I brought in Javier Pastore from Paris Saint-Germain. If any of you know him, you'll know that he's a fairly good player. He moved there for a big sum a few years ago. He moved there for 36.5 million. That's a fairly substantial sum. But yeah, we got him for 14 million, and he's done fairly well for us. Got 6.92 rating. He was really consistent. That was the main thing with him. He didn't really have like any games where he had like a 5 rating and gave the ball away that led to a crucial goal, etc. He was just very solid and chipped in here and there with some crucial goals. Yeah, didn't score that many, but as I said, he was a very good player and fitted into my system. I'll show you the system in a minute that I use, and I think it's really useful actually for Tottenham. But yeah, he's now worth 25 million. He's developed very well. Yeah, we'll go back to this and I'll show you who I've bought at the start of this season. I bought Kevin Volland. Very good player. I think it's just a must buy, really. He's got a minimum fee release. No, is that I feel like I'm saying that stupidly wrong. Minimum fee release clause? I think that's the right thing. Or minimum release clause. That's probably that. But yeah, it's like a no-brainer. He's got a minimum release clause of 12.75 million, and he's already worth like 14 million by the end of the first season. So it's just it's an absolute no-brainer. He's worth obviously a lot for us now, and he's got some great stats. He's only 20. Well, he's 22 now. He starts the game at 21 years old, and he's got some really good stats. And he's going to be one of the best players probably in the world, I think, because even though it says a 4-star, I think he's going to be probably. I know I can develop him right, and he'll be like a properly good player. He's already had a really good preseason for me. Scored 3 and 5, and he can play anywhere across the front three. Like he can play as a winger or a striker. He's very competent at any of those positions even. Who else? I signed Benoit Castile. He's just a cover goalkeeper, and yeah, I mean, there's nothing much to say about him. I let Bradfield go because he had like 50k wages, and that's just money I want to save because Tottenham actually struggle with finances a little bit. Like their wages for other players are pretty big, so I I um I tried to do a lot of cost cutting in this first transfer window. So yeah, I've signed Callum Chambers as well. Callum Chambers, yeah, it's a big player in real life. Obviously, moved to Arsenal, and yeah, I got him for a good fee, 6.75 million. He's going to be a very good player, I expect. And yeah, nothing much to say about that. He's got decent stats, especially physical. I was thinking of getting a Leeds player called Sam Byron, but in the end decided to go with Chambers. I like to try new players, and I've never actually bought Chambers. I've bought Byron before, and he's turned out very well for me. But yeah, I thought I'd try Chambers this time. I also bought a regen youth player from Dagenham Redbridge. I just sort of scouted him and signed him for 13.9.5k, and he's 5-star. So yeah, obviously that's a great buy. And I will show you. I'll talk about the last signing, Pierre-Michel Lasogga, in a minute. I just want to show you who I released, or who I got rid of as well. Got rid of uh, Gylfi Sigurdsson. He was actually fairly good in my. He was okay in my first season. He was pretty solid. He only really played in the Europa League, mainly a sub. He mainly made subs in the league. But yeah, he played in the Europa League. He's got some decent goals actually. But I decided to let him go just because I wanted to. I had a lot of players in that position, the attacking mid position, like in that front three area of right wing, left wing, and attacking mid. And I felt like I could get a decent price. He was worth, even though it says he's worth 15 million there, he was only worth like 6 million or something for me. He's got decent stats. It might be a bit of a mistake, but I needed the wages, so because I need to develop other areas of my squad, and I wanted to give key players new contracts, etc. I got rid of Carl Norton. I got 4.8 million for him. He was a cover player for my first season. He did alright when he was called upon. Played a lot of Europa League games as well. But yeah, 4.8 million I think is a really good price for him. Especially, yeah, he's 2-star, I think. Oh, well, he was when he left. He was 2-star. He was a 2-star player, staff recommendation. So yeah, that. And I've also loaned out Adebayor. He's on 100k. It's like I need that. I need those wages. So get out. I loaned him out my first season as well. He did okay for me, but then he just like completely dropped off. His form was really poor, so I just loaned him out in January because I wanted the wages to be saved. Loaned out Chadley to Stuttgart. Again, very very poor. Look at his average rating, 6.57. Didn't play much, but he just didn't. Didn't really have any room for him, to be honest. That was the main thing. And a bunch of releases, etc. That's about it. I've loaned out Bentaleb. He'll probably be a key player next season. I've loaned him out for the past 2 seasons. And hopefully I've loaned him out just because, yeah, it doesn't fit into my squad, like I said. And yeah, I signed this guy, Lasogga, because obviously I needed a bit of strike force up front. And It's kind of a gamble. Well, it's not really a gamble, but he's kind of unheard of. I've never really heard of him before signing him on this game. So, but look, some of his stats are really good and they really fit in. The reason I signed him is because he really fits into my system, and it's really strong, good work rate. Determination helps with development. He's got determination of 18, so his stats are likely going to improve. Good finisher, header, and I play with one up front, so he needs to have a bit of a presence. And yeah, he scored 11 goals for Hamburg last season, and that's what he is. He's going to be basically a goal scorer, and hopefully he'll do well for me. But yeah, I'll get to the actual main squad here. General info, go to position. We'll just click on Hugo Lloris. Hugo Lloris, he's a great goalkeeper. Possibly, well, I think one of the best on the game. Um, there's so many situations in matches where I was certain that the opponent was going to score, opposition was going to score, and he just pulled a one-on-one save out the bag. Just great at one-on-ones, and yeah, I can't rate him. I can't talk him up highly enough. He's just very good goalkeeper. If you can sign him for another team, really go for it, but you'll probably struggle. But yeah, as I said, what am I doing? I was going to scroll through the team. Yeah, very good goalkeeper. Pastore, as I said, talked about him before. Very solid, very good, and for 14 million is a very good signing, I feel. Paulinho, he was iffy. I mean, he scored the winner in the Europa League, but he really didn't do much apart from that. He was very average, to be honest. Came off the bench mostly, and yeah, didn't really get in the side. But yeah, I considered selling him, but he's decent. But certainly I wouldn't start him if I were you. If I was playing as Tottenham, well, if I were you playing as Tottenham, I wouldn't start him. He just didn't. At least on my game, he hasn't been very good to be honest. Nothing spectacular. Danny Rose, been the left back all season. Again, very solid, very consistent. Had a few games where he was a bit iffy, but as I said, yeah, very consistent, and that's what you want from a left back, really. And got forward well for me. Sandro, he's my captain, and he's a ball winning. I'll show you my. I will show you my tactics first. Actually, this is basically my tactics. It's a 4-5-1, and this is not my starting 11, by the way, but this is I use these instructions: short passing, pass into space, clear ball to flanks, hit early crosses, push higher up, wider, and I also do hassle opponents and get stuck in, because Spurs have got very strong players, the likes of Sandro, etc., and you want to get physical and turn it into a real battle, but also you've got really good wide players. You've got Lamella, who I'll get into in a minute, and Pastore, obviously, is a very good player. And you've got some good fullbacks in Rose and Kyle Walker. Um, I will just go back to, Sandro, as I said, very good player. Ball-winning midfielder, so he didn't really, you won't get very good ratings out of a ball-winning midfielder. Soldado, he did alright, but he's not that great. Got some goals here and there, but he actually dropped out of my first team, and I will tell you who took his place in a second when we get to him. Townsend, he was like Paulinho, very inconsistent. He did okay. He's a decent player, but he needs a bit of work. So I he was very poor in my first half of the season. So I loaned him out in January to Newcastle. He did a bit better. So yeah, this guy will take a bit of development, at least in my experience. But I reckon he could be a really good player. So he's going to continue in my squad for this season. This guy is a youth player. I brought him up. He was out on loan last season. I think he's going to be decent in the future. So gonna gradually ease him into the first 11. It's probably going to be a starter in a few seasons, but I will show the defense that I have now is very good, so it's unlikely he'll break into it this season. But you never know. Here he is, Jan Vertonghen, very very good player. He's got such great stats all around, really, and yeah, he was very good last season. Scored quite a few goals actually, as well as being very consistent, very solid at the back. Um, Obviously, a good defense combined with Lloris is like super. It's very good. You got a very good base when you start as Tottenham, and Vertonghen is definitely a big part of that. I just gave him a new contract, 81k for 4 years, because Barcelona tried to buy him, but I like basically asked for 50 million, and they obviously rejected it. Yeah, as said, Volland, very good player. I'll move on to Walker. Yeah, he's been fairly solid. Um, Worked well in my formation, scooting up and down the right hand side, providing crosses, etc. And yeah, my system really does rely on fullbacks because I clear the ball to the flanks, and it's important to have decent fullbacks for this, and especially in ones with good stamina. And obviously, Kyle Walker has good physical stats, very good physical stats, I should say. Work rate is very good as well. Yeah, work rate is very important in my formation. Here's Capuy. He was a cover player, really. Didn't really play much first season, but yeah, I don't think he'll play that much this season either, because I've got Jake Livermore back from loan. It's Callum Chambers. I'll just scoot past him. Kirikez, very very good. He did very well actually, and I think he'll probably be one of my starting 11 this season. He grew into the first team as the season went on, and yeah, he's pretty good. Costill, yeah, as I said. Dawson really didn't play at all. He's mainly just in the squad for cover. That's literally it. He doesn't play, and he's very unlikely that he will play this season either. He's on quite a lot of wages, but most Tottenham is their average wage is like 45,000, I think. Dembele did very well at the start of the last season. Look at his stats; they're insane. Some of them, like, just consistently good, very good. Physical stats and mental stats are very good as well. Um, yeah, He's pretty good. He like on the pitch, he was fairly consistent. I think it was mainly like my team. No one massively stood out. It was mainly just a group effort of consistency. Like, really was. We really were very consistent, and it was down to everyone fitting into the system that I played. So yeah, Ericsson again, he was pretty decent. He was consistent. Did well in the continental football, and yeah, he's a pretty good player. He's been very easy to develop for the last few years on Football Manager. So yeah, he's very good. He's going to be a very good player. Zeki Friars cover and played a couple of games in the Europa League. That's pretty much it to say about him. Yunus Kabul started most games. He's actually pretty good. I did not realise that he was this good. I thought because I remember he left for Portsmouth in real life, and I didn't even realise he came back to Tottenham. Well, I did, but it took me a while to realise he was back at Tottenham. And yeah, he's actually fairly good. And he started most of the games, although I think I might give his place to Kirikez, but him along with Vertonghen, Walker, and Rose, with Lloris in goal, just very very solid unit altogether. Harry Kane, he's like my pet project. He broke into the first team last season. I know his average rating says 6.74, which is not the best, but he was fairly good, especially in continental and cup football. Um, yeah, I always like to develop youth when playing this game, and I'd like for him to hopefully take on like a first team starting role like consistently if I can. I'm not sure how much I can develop him, but he showed a lot of promise in the first season. Played fairly well in my system and scored a few goals here and there. Eric Lamela, very good. Obviously, 22 years old. He's got a long time to develop, and he's already started very much building on the potential that he had at Roma. And yeah, 37 appearances, 11 goals. He did much better than the average rating would suggest. And yeah, he's going to be a very good player. Possibly a world class player. I don't know. And there's that striker. I got Aaron Lennon. He played mainly Europa League. Didn't really play that much. Mainly a sub appearance here and there, really. Yeah, but he's decent. And a lot of these English, well, certainly in Lennon and Dawson's case, I'm keeping in just because of the laws with registering English players. That's mainly why they're still here. But also they're decent cover. Like Lennon's not a bad player. Neither's Dawson really, but they don't fit in. I mean, I've got too many good players in their positions. Jake Livermore came back from loan from Hull, and I'm going to use him for cover this season. I loaned Bentaleb out just for another season to develop. I reckon he'll be a very good player when he comes back. But yeah, Livermore is basically like Kapui. He's going to be cover for Sandro and Dembele. I'll show you my starting lineup in a minute. Yeah, back to the start. Okay, so yeah, my tactics are. I know my first 11 is Pastore starting there, Ericsson there, Dembele in for that, and Sandro. Ignore the suspension thing. Lamela. I think Soldado will literally rot on the bench this season. He won't. I doubt he'll play at all. I'm going to really rotate my strikers though, so probably Voland, Lasoga, and Kane. Going to really rotate until I find who's the best. Like Voland can obviously play right wing and left wing very well. So yeah, there's that. Sorry, this was just the team that I had for my last friendly. Where's Walker? There we are. Yeah, so that is my starting lineup, and I think it's pretty good. Basically, it's a energetic system, and whenever I go ahead, usually in away games, especially Europe, I go like this. Be disciplined, work into the box, just because you want to you don't want to be rash when you go away from home. But yeah, that's my profile. I know Tottenham's fairly, like I said, they've got some really good players to start with, but I feel like these players that I've added, like Voland and Pastore, I feel that they are very good players, and will certainly help. Certainly Voland will be it's like a no-brainer for any team signing a player that's 22 with the stats that he has. For 12.75 million, I think is an absolute bargain, and you're guaranteed to get it every time. So that if you're going to take anything from this video, would be to sign Voland, if you can. Like obviously, if he hasn't been taken by another team, but if you're a big enough team, try and get Voland. And yeah, Pastore is a very consistent performer. So if you didn't care about the Tottenham aspect, just take that from this video. Anyways, yeah, I do hope you enjoyed it, and I will try to upload other videos when I can. If you did enjoy this video, please give it a like, it's very much appreciated. And yeah, let me know if you agree with my Tottenham strategy, and yeah, leave a comment down below. But until next time, I'll see you guys later.